Hey, welcome to another episode 140, Managing Time Better. Always learning about this. I got my co-host here. He might come say hi, Sullivan. I'll get him on film here. Yep, we're green screening it, buddy. Okay, yep. Might have a couple little interruptions, but anyways, we're doing dog intros. And it's always a risk with the coffee in the hand doing this kind of thing. Anyways, we recently talked about kind of high performing, and that episode had a lot of replies. A lot of conversation did stem from that, and I thought it was important to share some information around just, I guess, kind of like compounding your time. Either, you guys can hear the dog, by hiring out things. It doesn't have to be crazy expensive when I say this either. I know a lot of people fear hiring folks or getting like help. It's not going to be as good, what I don't know, as the way that they do it, which is the most dangerous thing I ever hear from friends who have businesses. Like, oh, they won't do it as well as I can. Like, check yourself. There's definitely people that do a lot of stuff better than you. Number one. Two, like, how are you managing your time? So it's kind of a segue off that episode. And I think one of the biggest things when I had done some of these recent episodes that were a little bit shorter, I was worried that I wouldn't get as much content and almost like enough value for my time in terms of like spending time recording it, getting my team to edit it and stuff. And then we do use softwares as well that help manage that time. So whether I'm saying like, hey, maybe hire a person to offset some of like your time so you can enjoy more of it, or two, use a software that speeds it up. In my case, to do both. So our people are incredibly efficient at what they do because we use different softwares to help enhance, make their job, their world, their day easier. So we kind of do a combo, and I'm happy to share all about that on this episode. If we can make your life world a little bit easier, even if it's one person, that's the whole point on a podcast here. We will get back to having some folks on the high performance side. We've just been a little bit tighter on the schedule. This is a good way to continue on the pod. So, so for context on here, and I'll just reference making a podcast episode, for example, because we manage it for others. We manage content for others on the marketing side. We do that on our own podcast here too. So it's kind of like we're used to doing it for so long. Yeah, we're pretty good at it. So where to start? You can definitely hire folks to help with video editing. That's part of our team to this day, and they do great work on that end of like handing stuff off after the episode. But there are a lot of like AI tools. So AI tools that cut it up, and my mindset is so simple on this. It's per episode, whatever we're doing, how many short clips can we make out of that episode? Let's make a quality episode, but then let's promote it daily and let's get our views up across all pages and let's run with that. So if we were short clipping other podcasts in the past, we go for like 30, 40 minutes. I would say give me any, length of clip video through this AI tool from like 30 seconds to 90 seconds. And I wonder if I actually will share my screen here. Let me see if I can pull up. I wasn't actually thinking about this ahead of getting on here, but let me see if I can get in the back end here and actually just show you exactly what we use. And I should be able to, and it's just our content that's on here. So there's nothing like proprietary. Oh yeah, okay, cool. I will do that then. Let me shut down this other window and I'll pull up the screen. This project, okay, back to the dashboard. What happened? Our project was deleted, allegedly. So there's a bunch of programs that do this, by the way. So it's not like this is the only one. I'm just gonna pull up this share screen. Yeah, share screen. Here we go. Opus Clip. Okay, so this is one that we use on here. So Opus Clip, it's like drag drop. Okay, here's the thing. We've been using this thing for a few years, so this might seem a little confusing coming from the outside in. But there's lots of tips and there's way more videos on here. When we first started using this program, it was not at this caliber. I'll just say that. And Opus would agree. So it's not knocking Opus. It's just like over time, this tech evolves, it gets better. So there's all these great videos on here. And I mean, people, like I said, often do ask like, hey, like, how do you get all this stuff done? Like, you're doing so much. it's so easy. Keep in mind, I've put in like a dedicated amount of time to figure this stuff out. So it wasn't like I was just like, oh, one day I woke up and I'm like, oh, you know what I'm going to do? Be super efficient in every capacity of my life. No, you go through like those slow moments and you like need to do it the analog way to start off with and figure out that you don't like doing it that way. And then from there, find other programs. You get frustrated, you grow. Let me just grab some coffee here. So what we see on the screen here is we have 3 recent episodes. The other one is from, I guess, a client that we had done some content with. And yeah, clip anything. So I'm going to go to, which one here? Let's do, I already pulled all the clips off all of these. Let's do this one though. And they'll stay in here for a period of time. But basically the way that the software works is it pulls all the clips that we've done, edits them for us. You're going to have to go into these too though, because sometimes it doesn't get the spelling correct on some of the words that you do. So there is always a little extra to be done. But in general, it ranks these short clips for you. So you can, in theory, these are the ones with a higher rating, like 99 out of 100. There's a good chance that this clip here is going to get better views than the one over here, wherever the heck it is, way down here at 71. It's actually impressive because normally, and it's probably a comfort thing on the mic, but over time, like we used to have some videos that would be like, maybe on an episode, the best clip would be like a 85, and the lowest one would be like a 40 something, 45, 51, whatever it was. So I guess over time, just like comfort on the mic and behind some of the tools and stuff. Also, in general, we've upgraded some of the equipment, so video quality is a little bit better. Maybe that even comes into it. So you can go in here and like edit these clips, download them. You can schedule them from here. We use a different program for that, but apparently they've added that in. It seems like every software has that now, which is another aspect of this I will discuss. Okay, so in here, this was I'm pretty sure it was a 15-minute video at most. It gave us 22 clips. And if we reverse the math on this, just how my brain works, it's like, hey, amazing. Now we have 22 days of 1-a-day content, or we have 7 days at 3 times a day content plus 1. You can do quick math on the 21 divided by 3 there. Or if you really want to stack it, that's 2 days at 11 clips a day, which I know scares some people on the social media side of things. And if you're watching the screen here, you're seeing me look at this like 22 here, and I'll pull up the other program that we use for scheduling. I know I've done a whole episode on this already on this other program, but I think it's important just to understand like what, like really goes on the other end of like the content thing and how this game is really played. You'll hear like high-end content creators talk about, use your free content and, absolutely like share way more times in a day than that. Like there's some people that post a lot. I'm just going to switch screens here. So if we're okay, I was talking about like AI editing here, use different programs. We happen to use Opus. This is a paid program. And then frankly, from this point on, this is usually where we end up getting involved with companies that do the podcasting from my team's perspective, because it starts to be quite a bit to manage all that content and then getting it out, getting it scheduled, making sure and using our approach to that. So this is a little bit of a podcast and a marketing, I guess, like podcast episode today. But regardless, if you're organizing content for yourself as a creator or a podcaster, these are some of the things that I would recommend for you. And I know a lot of high performers out there, so it is kind of correlated to our core here. Let me just show you on the other side. So great, we've edited those clips. You can schedule them through that program, but we use a different one. Another paid one here. This is in Slater. So I'm just fully showing you all the things that we're on. So in the podcast for sure, like instance here, like we're on YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn for business, which is a huge opportunity. If you're not doing that, check yourself. Twitter, we are on Twitter. Something happened with some kind of agreement. I don't know if someone peed in someone's cereal or whatever the expression is, pissed in someone's cereal. But something happened with Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it now. Anyways, Instagram as well on here. And so you can choose the channels that you want that to go out to, and then schedule accordingly. So you can see, where we're at here like on the 11th recording and what other posts we have scheduled for today, different time slots. It'll show us the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. I did schedule heavier on the 10 and 11 here just to kick off some more content. And then you can see like we are scheduled out into the 17th here. And that's how we do it. We stay ahead of stuff, at least by week. I think I was actually scheduling this stuff versus the team. I just wanted to play around with it again, because this is always evolving too. So it's important to stay on top of this stuff, but over time, you'll get a ton of analytics from this. If you go back to like the month here, I don't know what this will necessarily show us. I didn't pre-screen this one. It's loading. Oh, whoopsies. Okay, it was going to load for us. Okay, as you can see, content kind of like 4 or more each day here. We took a little bit of a break on a week here. I just don't think we had episodes going on. But then we went back and reviewed and made those adjustments to have more content readily available. And then sometimes there's errors with, things like, I think this was YouTube here. So you catch little things on here, little errors or whatever. But ultimately that's how, we are so effective at pushing content out. It's just like mass volume. We're scheduling ahead of time. It's not like I'm on my phone like every day like that. And neither are major content creators. I think that's a misconception. I think if you can be authentically behind the other side of your phone, I do talk about this a lot. It's wonderful. Like, do that. But if you're going to play big in this game or start to, you're going to be scheduling content. You're going to be recording ahead of time, no matter what that looks like. It doesn't have to be podcast version either. This can be like I see a lot of great like local here, and I follow companies across North America primarily that do great, like very creative, like more I'll say like TikTok trendy kind of video stuff, and those do awesome too. But they're usually scheduled, whatever program that those companies are using for those other companies. But if you are someone who's like in-house or trying to like understand like how this works, I know I do chat with folks about it. I get asked about it, I guess, and then it does come up before working with clients who have been for the last few years here, about how this works, like how how are we able to do this basically, even within like the cost parameters. And once it's explained, it's like, oh great, okay, so you guys are experts not only in the content creation side of things, but also more so the management and then the execution on the other side of like, hey, let's follow the stats on this. And we're just kind of in like a ramp back up mode with the podcast. But I'll do another episode where I'll show our own podcast here about how we go from, we kind of tabled out in the summer here. I'll say that we were probably at, which is still a lot of views per month, but probably at like 10,000 views a month for our page. But relatively speaking, that's pretty low just for the Instagram page alone. That's not collectively on like all the other pages like YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, like I was saying there. But what I will say is that in a short period of time, I'll see those analytics climb back up to, on Instagram alone, like 80, 150, probably 250,000 a month, depending on, again, quality, topic. But the biggest thing is consistency. And there's a big lag on some of these posts too. Like everyone wants to go like viral right away, I find, as a trend. And obviously that is kind of the goal. You want it to take off. You want it to outpace your other posts or other posts in your category. But depending on your business and the purpose of you doing it, you don't need that post to go that viral. You need that friendly reminder that you still exist. Stay top of mind with people that are in your sphere. And over time, a lot of those posts actually like creep up to, if you get to like a 200, 300, 500 viewer post, sometimes I find that like they almost like stall out there for a little bit. And then the next week you'll be up to like 1,500, 3,000. And I see it on LinkedIn Business a lot, where all of a sudden there's like a post from like 2 weeks ago popping up on my feed, which, shout out to LinkedIn, that is a little annoying at times because it's like an event from like 2 weeks ago that I wasn't aware of, or something that I've now seen a post being like, hey, don't miss this. And it's like, well, why am I seeing this 2 weeks later? It's okay. But it works actually in our favor in this case, because some content doesn't necessarily just like die off because it wasn't seen right away. It almost seems to kind of like percolate and hang around for a little bit. So like I said, time management. We're just about on 15 minutes here for this episode. I'll cut it right away. And then outside of this episode, I'll be able to turn this into probably a month's worth of content in the sense of it being once a day. But if we do multiple times a day, then it's a higher intensity use of the content, but it's still going to be very effective for the short clips that we do. So anyways, point being, folks who are looking at this and wondering, hey, how the heck is Steve doing this? And the answer is just like the planning portion of it. Like I said, obviously it's years of experience with doing this stuff. It's not crazy complicated. And if you do have the capacity to do it, this is how we operate our end of things here. And if it saves you some time, energy, and resources, then wonderful. I'm happy podcasting, happy creating content and chatting on a screen. I don't know what else there's to say with this. Yeah. Cut using tools or resources such as great people that are out there to help you do that. And then manage the content. And I guess the last thing I would say, though, is make sure you're analyzing the results at the end of this. Just like personal training or fitness stuff, which I'm very passionate about. Make sure you're analyzing your goals and benchmarking or tracking like what you're doing here. Because it's one thing to do all this stuff, but then if you're not reviewing and analyzing the performance of what you've done, then there's really no point in doing it because you have no baseline for this. So I would recommend that. It's one of the more valuable things that we do spend time with folks on and doing and just talking about, like right now. Spend that time analyzing it. I would suggest at least once a month. Like, you can go in and check it every day, but I would say just go in at the end of the month. If you're confident with the content that you've made, you're going to have a feel for about like what your views were and stuff. But go back in after that and then go explore how you did on average, because you can critique yourself every day. And yeah, you could go back and redo some stuff, but run with that for like a month or whatever, and then see what happens out of that and then change it next month. The beauty of this too is like people have short memories. It's not like you're saying anything like crazy. I have such high confidence in our episodes because we just talk about real stuff. There's nothing in there that's it's real. At the end of the day, it's real content, and that's a bigger piece here we didn't talk about in this episode. But being authentic, like I almost rarely take second clips of stuff. It's like, hey, unless something really went amiss in an episode or a clip, or I just felt really not me in it, then we will redo it. Otherwise, I'm kind of a fan of just like going with it, going for it on the episode or in other content that I personally film. So that is all. Hopefully it saved you some time. Editing content, scheduling content, being effective with your time. Now we're on like 17 minutes. I'm sure this will turn into a month's worth of content for us here. Thanks for listening. Over and out.